a soul trapped in a loop where the void feasts on forgotten names. Then knees as she light chants the same words, her voice again his warframe cracking like a hollowed by the dying star, ritual's hunger. Harrow's face shifts shadow then light, then shadow again his warframe hollowed by the ritual's hunger. The void does not devour, it asterisk copies asterisk. It asterisk repetition copies asterisk, carves his identity into a mirror the darkness can touch. Ritual smoke curls inward, suffocating the self until only a vessel remains. Why does the void remember his pain but not his face? A prison with no doors, only a name dissolved in the static between memories. The shadows here are not enemies, they are the keepers of the curse. Rell's hands tremble not from fear, but from the weight of a vigil that cannot end. What kind of god needs a warframe soul to asterisk remember asterisk its own hunger? The void's prize is not power, it is a witness. A silent pact written in the language of erased identities. The void does not see, the void archives. Harrow's vigil is no hymn to loyalty, it is a cipher. A name unraveled becomes a thread. A thread cut severs a soul's echo. Rell's memory is not a sanctuary, it is a vault where the void folds identity into silence. Each loop tightens the curl, each breath erases a syllable. What remains when the last vowel dissolves? A husk, a witness. The void does not hunger, it asterisk collects asterisk. Warframes fade, their pacts remain. Why bind a general to a tomb? To prove the void's prison needs no key, only a name, only a self. Harrow's war is not against the revenant, it is against forgetting. What wakes when the erased remember? What sleeps when the remembered are gone? The Zariman 10-0 incident did not end with fire. The ship's corpse hung in the void, a husk of frozen screams. 10 children remained, the void whispered. One answered, Rell's skin became a map of collapsing stars. His breath fed the man in the wall, his veins held the prison's locks. A child's body, a god's leash. Harrow was never a name, he was a wound stitched into memory. The void does not forget, it archives. It devours by preservation. What does the void gain? A host, a loop, a child who cannot die because he cannot live. Harrow's mind is a corridor of stolen moments, birth, death, a face. These are words the void has not yet erased, but they will be, slowly. Like ink dissolving in blackness, Rell's vigil is not a sacrifice, it is a mirror. The man in the wall speaks through Rell's mouth. Harrow speaks through Rell's silence, 2 prisoners, 1 key, the key is absence. The key is the name that was never given, the void's design is not conquest. It is a library of erased souls, every door requires a face, every lock demands a name. Harrow's name was the first page burned, his identity the second. His existence the third. Why does the void curse Rell with this vigil? Because containment is a 2-pronged hunger, the man in the wall needs an anchor. The void needs a witness. Harrow is both, a prisoner who remembers too much, a ghost who cannot escape his own memory. The pact is silent. The prison has no walls, Rell's body is the threshold, Harrow's mind is the cell, and beyond them the void breathes, not to conquer, to collect. To ensure no name ever escapes the dark, the true horror is not the man in the wall, it is the child who became his voice. And the warframe who became his silence. In the end the void does not take, it becomes, and Harrow is the proof, a soul unmade. A name unwritten, a shadow learning to forget how to scream. The Zariman 10-0 incident did not end with fire. The ship's corpse hung in the void, a husk of frozen screams. 10 children remained, the void whispered. One answered, Rell's skin became a map of collapsing stars. His breath fed the man in the wall, his veins held the prison's locks. A child's body, a god's leash. Harrow was never a name, he was a wound stitched into memory. The void does not forget, it archives. It devours by preservation. What does the void gain? A host, a loop, a child who cannot die because he cannot live. Harrow's mind is a corridor of stolen moments, birth, death, a face. These are words the void has not yet erased, but they will be, slowly. Like ink dissolving in blackness, Rell's vigil is not a sacrifice, it is a mirror. The man in the wall speaks through Rell's mouth. Harrow speaks through Rell's silence, 2 prisoners, 1 key, the key is absence. The key is the name that was never given, the void's design is not conquest. It is a library of erased souls, every door requires a face, every lock demands a name. Harrow's name was the first page burned, his identity the second. His existence the third. Why does the void curse Rell with this vigil? Because containment is a two-pronged hunger. The man in the wall needs an anchor. The void needs a witness. Harrow is both, a prisoner who remembers too much, a ghost who cannot escape his own memory. The pact is silent. The prison has no walls. Rell's body is the threshold. Harrow's mind is the cell, and beyond them the void breathes, not to conquer, to collect. To ensure no name ever escapes the dark. The true horror is not the man in the wall, it is the child who became his voice. And the Warframe who became his silence. In the end, the void does not take, it becomes, and Harrow is the proof, a soul unmade. A name unwritten, a shadow learning to forget how to scream. The void does not take, the void carves. Harrow's name dissolves like ash in a wind he cannot feel. Rell's vigil is not a monument. It is a throat, a hollow hymn that hums his unmaking with every cycle. He walks a memory that is not his. A Warframe's bones cradle a soul the void is learning to digest. The loop is a shackle, the shackle is a mirror. Each dawn Harrow wakes without whacking his thoughts a fog, his purpose a scar etched by unseen fingers. The void remembers you, but the void does not see you. It folds your light into its hunger, it stitches your silence into its skin. Why does the void trap him here? What does it need that a nameless ghost can give? The answer is written in the absence of his voice. In the way his hands move like puppets through Rell's war, his eyes empty as shattered stars. He fights, he never chooses. The void arranges his limbs like a puppeteer arranging a corpse. Every battle is a repetition, every victory a step closer to oblivion. The enemy faces blur. The blood feels foreign, even pain has become a language he no longer speaks. A Warframe's soul is a forged fire, Harrow's is a dying ember. The void does not kill, it uncreates. It peels back layers until nothing remains but the shape of what you were. Sometimes rarely glimpses a shadow in the edges. A flicker of something older than Rell's war, a name, maybe, or a scream trapped beneath miles of silence. It fades before he can grasp it. The void is patient, it lets him wonder, it lets him ache. The prison has no doors, no chains, only the endless return. Only the erasure of the self, Harrow. The name is a riddle, a curse, an echo of the man who once chose to fight. Now he is a vessel, a shadow with a rifle, a soul the void is learning to forget. And in the quiet between shots, the void whispers, *, you are not you, you never were, *. The void does not conquer, it unravels. Harrow's vigil is no prison, it is a thread, stitching Rell's memory into the void's fabric. Each heartbeat there, a fragment of his soul is woven into the void's design, not to bind Tenno, but to erase what once was. A nameless guardian guards a nameless war. The cost is not memory, it is identity. The void does not carve, it unravels. Thread by thread, Harrow's Warframe breathes in silence, its alloys heavy with the weight of forgotten syllables. His mind is a hall of echoes, each step forward erasing the footprints behind. Rell's vigil is not a sanctuary, it is a throat, swallowing his name whole. The air there hums with static, a low, wet whisper that clings to bone like mold. She stands at the center of it, her form frayed at the edges, as if the world itself resists her shape. Her memories are not her own, they are a cage built from another's loss. The lotus wove this lie with trembling hands. A mother's mercy, she called Eat away to spare Rell the void's gnawing hunger, but mercy is a blade turned inward. By binding Harrow to Rell's mind, the lotus transmuted grief into a weapon. His consciousness became the key, his identity the lockpick. What the void offered was not refuge, but a mirror. To guard Rell, Harrow had to become what he fought, a hollow thing powered by stolen light. Rell feels the theft. It is in the way her dreams bleed into wakefulness, how her own voice sounds foreign when she speaks. She knows he is there behind the silence, but the man who loved her is ash. The void has replaced him with a shadow that mimics longing. Transference is the cruel math of survival. What is given is always taken twice. Harrow's name was once a song, now it is a wound that cannot scream. The lotus sealed it away, fearing what the void would do to a name too sharp to be forgotten. But the void does not need names. It needs obedience, and so a Warframe kneels in a memory that is not a memory, its vigil a hymn to the thing that unmade him. The cost is not memory, it is identity. The void does not conquer, it becomes. Harrow was a technocyte survivor. Now a ritual shell. His voice echoes in Rell's memory, a ghost coiled in the void's throat. The Tenno wear warframes like second skins. Children bound to operators, operators bound to the wall's whisper. What does the wall offer? A mirror, a lie. You are not your reflection is you. Rell's Vigil is no sanctuary, it is a cipher, a prison without walls, without key. Harrow's name drowns there, not erased, eaten. The void does not imprison. It integrates, a soul becomes a function becomes a silence. Harrow's hands once built, now they hold nothing but the weight of Rell's grief. A debt paid in absence. The man in the wall speaks in your thoughts. It calls you child *. It calls you weapon *. It calls you echo *. You are not separate from the void is not separate from you. A knot, a wound, a recursion. The Tenno fight what they are. The Warframes forget what they were. Harrow's Pact is no choice. It is a collapse, a technocyte's last breath, sealed in a memory not his own. Why does the void need him? Not for power, for permission. A survivor's surrender becomes the blueprint. A soul's erasure is the void's language, a hymn, a key. A hunger made flesh. The operators do not know. They see a warframe. They do not see the thing inside unraveling. The void becomes, the void remembers. The void is Harrow, the void is you. Harrow's mind fractures, a looped whisper. Rell's ritual endless, a rusted gear in the void's clockwork, no name surfaces. Only the hum of a warframe's hollow shell, pivoting in a dark not dark. The indifference watches. Surviving records from whispers in the wall's name it, a hunger that forgets to hunger. It coils around Harrow's prison, a thread in the tapestry of unseeing. What does the void trade here? A soul for a cog. A warframe's fire for the fire that gnaws. The void remembers you. But the void does not see you. Rell's memory is not a sanctuary. It is the scar tissue where Harrow's identity was excised. The ritual repeats, a self-erasure. A pact without a signer. The Levirians still speak. They name the prison. They do not name the prisoner. Only the echo of a name lost in the teeth of the void. The indifference grows. It is not a god. It is the absence between breaths. Between stars, Harrow's warframe pivots again, a silent hymn, a curse. The void remembers, the void is patient, the void is you. Harrow does not dream, Excalibur Prime does. One is a technocyte husk, the other a survivor. The void does not consummate unravels. Rell's Vigil is no monument. It is a knot of stolen time, a sarcophagus of memory. Harrow's warframe pivots, no hymn, no curse. Only the hollow rhythm of a name dissolved in the void's throat. The Tenno wear their warframes like skin. Harrow's skin is a cage. Excalibur Prime fights with a child's hands inside its circuits. Harrow's child is gone. The void does not need his body, it needs his absence. A warframe is a host. Harrow is a host's host. His technocyte flesh does not repair, it rehearses. It replays Rell's last breath, Rell's last war, Rell's last lie. The void is not patient. It is a thief that steals the stolen. Excalibur Prime will break. Its soul is a spark the void cannot digest. Harrow's spark is already ash. His warframe moves because the void forgets to stop it. A machine obeys. A prisoner obeys, which is Harrow. The question is irrelevant. The void does not ask, it unspools. What does it cost to defy? Excalibur Prime's scars. What does it cost to serve? Harrow's silence. The void does not need keys, it needs echoes, and Harrow is an echo with no first note. The void remembers Harrow as a ritual, a prisoner bound to Rell's Vigil, his name dissolved in the static of the void's hunger. No man, no warframenly a cipher, a shadow repeating a prayer. Rell's memory is not a sanctuary but a snare, woven from the threads of what Harrow once was. The void does not grant identity, it devours it. Each echo of his existence fades, replaced by the hum of endless erasure. What remains is not sacrifice but a curse, to guard a tomb you no longer recognize as your own. The void remembers you. But the void does not see you. Are there others trapped in the Tenno's minds? The void does not merely consummate, replicates. Harrow's Vigil is a mirror, and the man in the wall is your shadow, masquerading as a stranger. What truths does the void whisper to